Jamie Kern Lima, she had an idea. She created a cosmetics line. Here's the inspiring part to me of her story. She sold that cosmetics line to L'Oreal in 2016 for 1.1 billion to be exact. And this was, and I mean, literally, this was after being rejected for 3 or 4 years. I mean, the story is unbelievable, but here's the one part of the story that I was like, yes. And whether you're a woman, you're a man, it doesn't matter. Every one of us at some point in life, and maybe you haven't, but most of us, has been told you're not good enough. Now, maybe someone didn't say you're not good enough. Maybe they didn't say that. But maybe what they said is, well, everyone's doing this, or this is an area where there's a lot of people doing this. What makes you special? What makes you different? What makes you think you can succeed where everyone else has failed, or many people have failed? And it resonated with me because here's the thing, guys. I don't know the stats, and I wish I had had time to look it up because this kind of hit me when I was coming into the office this morning. But how many people do you think try to start a real estate career and fail and get out of it?
10,000. It's a lot.
10,000. Yeah, I would say probably more, right? Like, how many people get their real estate license? And actually, Deanna, maybe you can help me figure out this stat, if not this morning, maybe later today. Mm-hmm. I want to post it. How many people get their real estate license intending for it to be their career, that they make at least $100,000? Because let me tell you, every real estate agent I talk to, no matter, Morgan's laughing, because when we ask the question, whether it's an agent that's in the business already or whether it's an agent getting into the business, and we ask them, we say, how much money you want to make? They say, I don't know, $100,000. I mean, they all say it. And then when you say, well, is that net or gross? They're like, ooh, I hadn't really thought about that. Right? And then they say 100 gross. And we're like, okay, so you want to make 50? You want to take home 50? They're like, what? You know? So here's the thing. The cosmetics market is crowded. Can you say, I mean, if you're a female and you go to the cosmetics counter, I mean, is there a lot of brands? So who was she to think that she could make it, right? And actually, when she went to one investor, this investor said to her, because she's not your typical body type. I mean, she's a bigger girl, and she's got this this challenge with her skin. And he said, we love everything. We love everything about it. We love everything about it. But we're going to have to say no. And she thought, they actually brought her to their office. So after being told no, like 100 times by investors, she actually thought they were going to invest in the company. And they said, but for us, it's a no. And she said, wow, and she's so used to being told no. She was like, all right. She's like, but can I just ask why? Just some feedback. And he said, you want me to be honest with you? And she goes, yeah, I want you to be honest with me. And he said, we don't believe that people that look like you with skin like you is going to appeal to the masses. And she was like, wow. And her mind said, he might be right. Maybe he is right. But her calling inside of her was so loud and so deep. And she's like, I just know there are women out there who look like me, who want this, who will want this. And it actually energized her, not from a perspective of, I'm going to show you, but from a perspective of, I believe so much in what God has put me on this earth to offer. And I believe so much that I am here to provide this, that I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. It's my deep, deep calling, right? And so it resonates with me because when we're in the real estate industry, right, we have this ecosystem of real estate agents, right? And we have and let me back up for a second. What the second thing I love about this book, I'm sorry, I meant to say this is that the reason she wrote the book is because she felt very strongly that social media, as much as it's amazing, and trust me, she uses it, because I don't know about you guys, but when I hear about somebody, the first thing I do is I stalk them like crazy. Like I Google them, and then I Facebook them, and then I Instagram them, and then I LinkedIn them, and I do all this stuff because I want to know everything I need to know, right? And so all of this, is just showing this exterior stuff. And what she says in her book is she said, I wrote the book so I could tell you all the ugly stuff, because social media has a tendency to whitewash everything and make everything look so easy and so simple. And she's like, I want you to know the ugly, right? And she's a woman of faith, and she's spiritually led, which, in Keller Williams, we talk God, family, business, right? Not a religious thing, God. It's a spiritual thing, because you have to have a spiritual connection that's going to guide you with whatever that spiritual connection is, right? So that when you're here, it's that spiritual connection, whatever that is for you. I'm not here to tell you what it is, but it's that bigger thing, that bigger guiding perspective. That has to be what's talking to you, because if that's not talking to you, what's talking to you? Who's talking to you? All of these people that may love you, and they may love you, but they want to protect you. And so they're telling you they don't want you to get hurt. And so they're giving you scarcity mindset, right? Be careful. Are you sure you want to give up that 40-hour-a-week paycheck? Because there's a lot of realtors out there, right? Are you sure? Are you sure you want to make that move to that new state, because you got it pretty good here? You know everybody and they know you. Are you sure? Are you sure you want to break out into that new business? Are you sure you want to buy that investment property? What if it doesn't sell for what you've got in it? What if it doesn't rent? I love you. I don't want you to get hurt. And what I love about her book is that she really focuses, and again, I'm not through the whole thing, but she really focuses on that inner voice. And so I want to kind of go through, her book is called Believe It, IT, that her product company was called It. All right. And how to go from underestimated to unstoppable. Oh, I just love it. I mean, the book Believe It is pretty cool, but how to go from underestimated to unstoppable just put chills through me, right? And here's the thing I want you to know. This is not a book for women, okay? John Maxwell read this book, as well as the other gentleman that does his podcast with him. And it is so inspiring, just about the person inside of who you are. And John Maxwell, if you don't know his story, he talks about when he went from being a full-time pastor into leadership coaching and writing leadership books, and how he was under attack from people that were trying to plant self-doubts in his head about what he should be doing and should he really be doing that. So here's a couple of things that I want to say, highlight on this podcast and in this book that she talked about. When that gentleman said that to her, she left. And one of the quotes she said just really struck me. She said to herself, you didn't come this far to only come this far. You didn't come this far to only come this far. So whether it's your real estate business or whether it's something else that you have a desire within you to do, if money wasn't an issue and no one would judge you, how would you show up differently in that thing that's driving you than you are today? I'm going to say that one more time. Whether it's investing in homes, whether it's building a big real estate business, whether it's helping real estate agents within your real estate business, within your team, whether it's starting a company, whether it's starting a program, whether it's creating a product, whether it's this, whether it's that, whatever it is, whatever that thing is in your dreams, if money were not a factor and no one would judge you, what would you be doing differently today, right now in this moment, than you've been doing? Think about that for a minute. Write it down. Write it down. I'm going to say it one more time. If money wasn't an issue and no one would judge you, how would you be showing up differently today? What would you be doing today that's different than you're doing? And then the next question is what's stopping you? What's stopping you? Now, I want you guys to know, man, I've got my own demons in this, right? Like, I have something on my heart that's huge, huge. And I constantly stop myself right before I take action. Like, I literally I'm getting ready to talk to you about it and I feel like I'm going to vomit. So I'm just going to put it out there, right? Like, I desperately, desperately want to start my own coaching company. Like, all right, I'm getting hot flashes right now. Like, I am sweating. Like, I feel like I'm going to throw up telling you this. And I want to write a book. And I want to write a book about feeling like you're not enough and having these feelings of not being enough or not having a lot of self-confidence because you're just not believing in yourself or what you're doing, right? Because you've got these feelings really deep down in you and you project out to everybody that you're so confident and you like got it under control and you know what you're doing and you've got all of this, but deep down inside, you're like, I want to take the next step, but I just don't know. I just don't want to fail, right? And so, if I struggle with that, and the reason I'm so passionate about pouring into you guys every single morning, this has nothing to do with my job of growing the company that I'm with or my company, right? This has to do with the fact that by pouring into you, I'm pouring into me. You see how it's a win-win? You win and I win. No one pays me to do this. This is just what I do because I love it. And it's my first step into doing something that I would do if no one would pay me and no one would judge me. Starting Limitless was my first step into it. And I did it because I was going to do it in a group of people that know me and love me. So that was safe, right? And if you love me, you're going to show up. And if you don't love me, you're probably not, right? Or whatever. And then yes, Jen Steyer, I see you. I had the book vision for you weeks ago and shared you are gifted and put on this earth for what you do. So yeah, like I have certain people that are pouring into me quietly, right? Like Jen Steyer's one of them, Heather Kane's one of them, Adrienne Sabatino's one of them. I have people pouring into me quietly. And I will tell you right now that when you start putting yourself out there little by little by little, you aren't always going to hit the mark and you may fail some, but at the end of the day, you're going to make way more strides forward than you make backwards. And I guess that's the reason this book resonated with me so much, is that one of her quotes was, as she said, how to move from self-doubt to self-confidence. How to move from self-doubt to self-confidence. We've all had people tell us in one way or another that we're not enough. How we respond to these moments can change our life. So that investor basically told her she wasn't enough. She wasn't skinny enough. Her skin wasn't clear enough. She wasn't pretty enough. She wasn't marketable enough, right? And what did she say? She said, you know what? I sat there and I almost believed him. And then I said to myself, and she didn't say it this way, but this is what I think she said, is she said, you know what? But I'm enough for my tribe. I'm enough for my tribe. I got a tribe of people out there, men and women, who are having challenges with their skin, who may be having challenges with their weight, and I'm enough for them. I'm enough for them. So I would ask you, that thing that you wrote down, who's your tribe? Because when you authentically show up in that space, the people who really need what you're offering, you guys are going to connect. So whether or not you are recreating spaces for people who don't have that talent to get their home sold, let me just tell you, when it comes time to sell my house, there are a few people that I'm going to be calling because I don't have that talent. It's not mine. And I'm okay with the fact that someone else has it and they're going to help me with it. So what talent do you have in negotiations? Where's your tribe? Do you have a tribe that you can represent that can't stand up and negotiate for themselves, right? They can't stand up and negotiate for themselves. What talent do you have within you that you're keeping within you because you're afraid to let it out, because you're afraid of being judged, rejected, or someone telling you that it's not enough? Let me tell you that there is a tribe out there that is waiting for you, that you will be speaking to, right? So if you're living in an area where it's really difficult for people to find a home, what is it about you, that your message that you can do to find that home for them? You're a home seeker, right? You're a home seeker. Amanda Finning, she's like 50, 60, I mean, like homes a year, buyers. I mean, it's like unbelievable. She's a home seeker. She's a homing beacon. She can find that home. She's got a tribe of people out there that know it. So yesterday I asked you, I said, in your real estate business or whatever business it is that you want your real estate income to fund, right? So some of us want to do things more than real estate, and we're leveraging the real estate income to fund it, right? So I'm not just talking about real estate, but let's just sit on real estate here for a minute, or whatever business that you have. What message are you sending out? So like Jamie Kern Lima, I wasn't attracted to her message of cosmetics. I just didn't have the need for what she was selling, which is probably why I never heard from her. I heard of her. But guess what I had a need for? Believe it, her book. I didn't know who she was. It was her book I connected to, her story. So what do you have inside of you? What's your story? What's your gift? What's your calling? And where's your tribe for it? And how are you connecting to them? And what service are you providing that speaks to that person, right? When you identify that, you will attract the people to you that want to be a part of it. That includes buyers, that includes sellers. When I see agents that are out there showing their talent in terms of home staging, photography, marketing, video, those are the agents that I see that are getting listings because, because their tribe is being attracted to them. Their tribe is picking it up. Their tribe is seeing it. So I asked you yesterday, I said, what's your message as a realtor or as a business owner, the product that you're selling, and what is it that you are putting out in your message to attract those people to you? Guys, this is in my opinion, and I don't know how, my opinion may not be anything, but what I believe is this is the future of real estate, is finding your tribe and making that connection with your tribe of people, and those tribe of people telling everybody else in their tribe about you and what you can do for them. Here's the second quote I'll give you, and then I'm going to wrap it up because it's 9 o'clock. That went by fast. Criticism is inevitable for anyone doing anything novel or authentic. When you are doing something that's novel or authentic to you, and I'm putting these links in right now, when you are doing something that is authentic and novel to you, everyone else won't understand it. They won't. They're not going to understand it. They're not going to get it. But if you believe deep in your heart that what you're offering will be in service to someone else and help someone else, do it. Move forward and do it. The last thing I'll say is the calling within me is more special than the criticism outside of me. The stronger the calling, the stronger the opposition. So in today's world, especially in real estate, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise, right? Like I think in Neighbor and Collier County here in Florida, we have like 10,000 licensed realtors. 10,000. But let me just tell you, less than 1,000 of them close more than $3.5 million a year. So there's a lot of noise. But less than 1,000 are starting to find a tribe, and less than 500 have actually found one. So what are you doing to clear the noise and create the path to you? Like Jamie Kern Lima created a path to her for people that have a need for her product. And then she made a path to me for someone like me who needed to hear her message. See how powerful this is? Are you guys connecting the dots? Are you connecting the dots? So I always talk about, and I've gotten a lot of private messages here. Amy Gray, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I talk a lot about the fact that living a life by design versus a life by default. Now, I can't take credit for that quote. That is from my mentor, my queen, Diana Kokoska, who was with Keller Williams for a long time as a coach. And so many years, I've lived a life by default. How much money am I going to make this year? What do I need to do to make that money? What do I need to do this? And never stopping to say, man, what's inside of me that I need to share, that I'm being called to share? And what's inside of me? How do I change and live my life by design? Now, no doubt about it, real estate's been good to me. It has provided me with an unbelievable lifestyle my entire life. It has brought me forgiveness when I have spent money and wasted money. 2008 comes to mind. And I've taken a dive in foreclosures. I mean, many of you don't know this, but I foreclosed on 3 houses. I short sold one. It was a mess. And yet, what have I done with it? What have I done with it? And so I would ask you, what are the things inside of you that you really want for you and your children and your grandchildren and your friends and the people that are surrounding you? What do you want? What do you want your legacy to be when your kids and your grandkids and your children and your family are surrounding your grave at the end of your beautiful life? What are they going to say about you? What are they talking about? And how did you deliver? Right? All right, guys, I love you so much. I just hope that you read this book and you get enough out. It's only a 5-hour listen on Audible, so I'm not all the way through it, but it's pretty cool. The podcast is great. It's only 38 minutes. I pray upon you an amazing day today. I know you'll have one. And it's hump day Wednesday, right? I am on track, right? It is Wednesday. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Bye.